Now, China has increased efforts to produce homegrown Australian lobsters. This story on the front page of the Australian newspaper today. Now, these are just yabbies grown in fish ponds to minimise China's reliance on foreign exports. What do you make of this, Jenna?
I think it's fascinating. I'll add to your editorial, Sharri, and all of your investigative work into Wuhan and COVID. I'm sort of landing on this finding that I feel that all of those trade sanctions that we saw handed down from the CCP all those years ago had nothing to do with the Morrison government rhetoric and everything to do with the fact that Xi Jinping wanted to ensure that his rural providers were bolstered in the ranks and wanted to punish our exporters. And even today, like we saw, that the timber sanctions have been lifted. I mean, it's about time that happened. That was a $600 million trade organisation that happened before COVID, and fingers crossed that our hardwood and softwood make it back to China ASAP.
Now, it's fascinating that, we thought we'd be seeing Joe Biden arrive in a few days, but instead we had the Chinese ambassador make some comments today about welcoming Anthony Albanese to China later this year. We're going to look at that topic a bit later in the program. But Jen, I want to turn to the future of the Quad following Biden's last-minute cancellation of his Australian trip. Understandable that he's got to sort out the debt ceiling. Perhaps he could have sent a capable deputy. But have a look at this. One person who's been scathing is the person we showed you a moment ago, a friend of China, Labor Foreign Minister Bob Carr. Have a look.
I just think we Australians have been enormously gullible and optimistic about our American partner, and we've got to start to factor in to our view of our future in this world the prospect that America could be more unpredictable and more unreliable.
Jen, I should say former Labor Foreign Minister and former New South Wales Premier, of course. Look, he also criticised Biden. Look, you understand, it's understandable that Biden has to sort out this debt ceiling crisis, but the way this has played out, it's been so chaotic. This has just been a gift to Beijing.
Absolutely. Look, I'm all for cancelling plans, but the fact that the US president knew that this issue was looming and still, like you say, he couldn't use any of his minions in the White House to kind of get the negotiations over the line with those steadfast Republicans in Congress about the economic situation, and to cancel so late in the piece, not so much here, and the fact that the photo ops on the steps of the Sydney Opera House, I should say, is such a big deal. But I think the fact that he's really let down countries like PNG, which were really relying on the US president to set foot on their soil and say, we are with you every step of the way, because I think those photos would send such a powerful image back to Beijing and say, back off this Indo-Pacific region, because we're here and we are partnering with all partners, big and small.
And I mean, to go to the poor handling, to let Albanese announce that Biden was going to be addressing Australian Parliament and then 10 or 12 hours later cancel, he should have known that was a possibility that was coming. Jenna Clarke, thank you very much for your insights, and we'll see you tonight, 10:30 on Sky News.